welcome to this week's weekly dev call for Hummingbot. Payday should be here pretty soon, but in the meantime, I'll get us started. So we have the agenda. As always, I'll post the agenda in the community call chat channel. If anyone has questions, please kind of like listen there as well. So we have today we're going to talk about a few items. First, we have we're going to review kind of basically some of the status of the ongoing exchange revamp that we have. There's Fede, and then basically we've assigned a bunch of connectors to be built as bounties by the community. So we'll give you an update on that. Next, we have a presentation from the team from Sifchain, who has added, who submitted a pull request to add the Cosmos base layer integration. I think they also plan to submit additional PRs later on to integrate Sifchain into Hummingbot as well. And then finally, we're going to review the pending bugs and then also raise questions for the community. So, hey, yeah, intro.
Hey everyone.
But yeah, I just kicked off the agenda, so I'll hand it over to you now.
Okay, perfect. Well, as Mike mentioned, we are going to start with the status of the exchange revamp that we are working on. Well, the good news is that we are getting into a very good point in terms of the quality of the connectors. I just reviewed the first submission that was from Yacom, that is here. It was a very good connector. The quality he followed the standards of the guides that we have. And it was very easy to read the code, and that's why we are doing this. Now, if you are going to check the different connectors, you will find a similar structure, and it will be very easy for you to check if there is any issue there. So that's why the main purpose of working on this upgrade. So currently we have that submission of the Gate.io perpetuals to the codebase, and we have assigned the FTX perpetual, the KuCoin perpetuals, the upgrades for HIT BTC spot, Bybit spot, Huobi spot, and the upgrade for Binance perpetual. All those connectors are assigned, and there are developers working on them. And we have remaining one that is to the upgrade of the Ascendex connector to the version 2.1. Well, if anyone is interested on working on that one, just comment on that issue. But well, right now I'm very happy that this initiative has a lot of support from the community. Well, that's all about the exchange connectors revamps. I don't know if anyone has a question. Yeah, that PR that is the one that I am referring to. If you want to check the code, and you will see that it's very similar to the code of the Bybit connector. That's the main idea, no? So, well, I don't know if anyone has a question about this initiative of the exchange revamp. Okay. Well,
and before we move on, I think after this batch of kind of connectors are done, I think we'll probably create more issues as well that community members can work on related to these connectors. For example, we may create issues to add various connectors as rate oracle sources so that people can use them, at other places. And another one is, I think that another area we can improve is probably, adding different order types and making sure that all the certified connectors support, kind of order types like market orders or stop limits and things like that give users more options when using that connector. So overall, what we're really trying to do is really make sure the certified exchanges we're focusing kind of like development efforts and trying to make sure those connectors are really high quality, and then using the voting process in order to kind of like kind of like have those exchanges kind of basically own HBot and hold HBot and vote themselves into certified. So that's kind of like the model that we have. So that's why I think that obviously the token is not it's there's not a lot of use cases for right now, but we do think that if we really differentiate kind of like certified exchanges from the non-certified exchanges in the code base, then that is going to work. And then one note in the future, we also might do something very similar with strategies as well, because right now there's probably about 14 strategies in the code base, but we're seeing a lot more people who want to submit their own strategies into the code base, and we want to encourage that. However, the same problem is going to happen with connectors, in that it's the maintenance effort doesn't scale if it's trying to handle every single strategy. So most likely we'll ask the community to help us select like the top 5 or 6 core strategies that the foundation then puts efforts into creating bounties for maintaining, while the other strategies in the code base are community. So that's kind of like the general plan for trying to make sure that we're leveraging community maintainers to improve the code base, while also kind of like using the token voting process to help us decide which connectors and which strategies we should run.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree a lot, and I like a lot the idea of creating some tickets to do some similar stuff like adding rate oracles, or for example, add the support for different order types. Those things I think that will be very, very good. And obviously, it's much more better if we start with the same base and a standardization of how the connector should be coded. So that's all for the Exchange Revamp initiative. So now we are going to invite the Sifchain devs. I don't know, Carlito, if they are already here. Oh, they are racing. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Hey guys, how are you?
So we are actually Pecunia Finance. We're a DAO working independently to connect Hummingbot and exchanges. And our first project is with Sifchain. As most of you are probably already aware, our project lead, Nicolo, or Pecunino, is often in these calls and active in the Discord. But essentially, we originally wanted simply to add a Sifchain connector, but as development progressed, we realized that we could create also essentially a Cosmos abstraction layer that would allow many different Cosmos-based exchanges built on the Cosmos SDK to much easier connect to or build onto Hummingbot. So that is the first of our pull requests, which is active right now. And then the following pull requests, indeed, we have planned to integrate a Sifchain connector as well. And that is not all. We also intend to continue developing. So we want to be recognized and known members in the Hummingbot development community. So we're going to keep looking for opportunities to connect.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Yeah, and thank you very much for contributing. I know that you guys have spent a lot of time on the Cosmos one, the Sifchain one. So yeah, I think we'll try to help you kind of navigate the governance process. One thing I should note is that I do think there's quite a lot of value in having a Cosmos base layer integration into Gateway and for Hummingbot. I think there's a few. I think there's still about 1.3 million tokens in the Gateway V2 kind of governance proposal, allocation. So you could probably submit I guess we call it the HIP, a Hummingbot Improvement Proposal, to kind of like allocate bounties from that allocation for the Cosmos integration. Generally, I think the community will likely support the Cosmos basic allocating HBOT tokens for the base layer integration. I feel like they would likely vote for that. Whereas I think the Sifchain integration may kind of that may just need to be a pull request, because I'm not sure if the community will how much they would value kind of like the Sifchain integration versus like a generalized Cosmos one. But I definitely think the Cosmos integration deserves some tokens, and I think yeah, if you need help submitting an HIP for that, we can probably help.
Awesome, thank you very much. Yeah, we were actually thinking along similar lines, and are planning an HIP, and would definitely like to collaborate on that to see what is an appropriate and fair amount to ask, and
yes,
how much the value is. So
right. So actually, I think I would say because Coin Alpha, our parent company, they're actually planning to submit a HIP for I believe Chronos and Near integrations in the next week or so. So I think that once they submit those, you can probably just copy the template and do the same thing for Cosmos.
amazing. Okay, yeah.
Maybe if I can ask a few questions about what you've already submitted, Nick.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Any questions you might have?
Yes. So it seems like what you submitted is the Cosmos, the base chain, pull request. Can you talk a bit more about like kind of, maybe since you're on, like what the current pull request does, and maybe your plans for future ones?
So the current one is essentially the components that are used in every Cosmos related protocol. So I mean, essentially just creating a global foundation for Cosmos based applications that will allow whenever somebody is building on or wanting to connect to Hummingbot to a Cosmos based exchange, that they will not have to do the added development of integrating those variables, which are common throughout all Cosmos SDK based applications.
Got it. So the chain basically allows kind of people to select Cosmos chains. Did you also add like the different networks in as well, like the like for instance, like so right now it sounds like the current one adds Cosmos base chain support, but it doesn't add any dexes yet.
That's correct. So we have 3 following pull requests planned. We originally planned just 2, but in cooperation with Fauzi, we found that it was, or rather, our project lead Nicolo and Fauzi decided that it would be better to break it up a little bit more. So the actual exchange elements are coming in the following pull requests.
Okay, got it. And I think you mentioned earlier, you had to create some changes in order to get get it working with Sifchain, because I think that I guess like so because right now what we're trying to do with Gateway is kind of have like very standardized exchange types, like it's a Uniswap V2 AMM, Uniswap V3 AMM, and then those can then be used by kind of like these specific files on the connector side, and so my question would be like, I guess like, are there specific features of Sifchain that you had to what are some of the changes you had to make in order to make it work with Hummingbot?
There is definitely, I mean, because of the way Cosmos based exchanges work, they're not they're not built like. Yeah, I'm doing a bad job of explaining this. Maybe Nicolo, are you available to? He's listening in. I don't know if he has time to get into details.
Yeah, I think if we could invite Peconino also,
He's
could
in the
be able.
call.
Yeah, he's in the call, but just on stage. Yeah, I think he would be able to answer this question.
Hey guys, thanks
Um,
for inviting. So the main issue, Sifchain is also an MM, basically, but they use a different kind of translation of the coins because they have an EBC, so interblockchain component. So when reviewing this also with Fauci, we understand that was not possible to use the actual endpoints that the gateway provides. And so we will need to create our own endpoints for the gateway itself that then will be consumed by the client.
Why is it not possible to use the current connector classes? Like, what about the IBC aspect is kind of like does it introduce?
As far as I know, they don't use the same logic that Uniswap provide, for example. And yeah, we develop on a different basic, and we are creating our own endpoints like like Solana did for Club. So we have created our own endpoints for the wallets, and in the future we are creating our own endpoints for the network as well.
Yeah. So to be honest, I would say the Solana guys, we are kind of allowing them to create their own classes, but it's also more because it's that class is designed for like order book exchanges like Serum and so forth. So the part that I think that I would say overall we're not opposed to adding kind of like more accommodations for new types of exchanges in that connector class. I just want to point out that the way that was designed was that these like kind of gateway connector classes in the client are supposed to be abstracted to exchange types. So, for example, CLOB connectors, AMM connectors, or AMM concentrated liquidity connectors. So that's why it's like, what I'm trying to ask is more like on the Cosmos side. It sounds like the change is not specific to an exchange because it's still an AMM. So if it's still an AMM, then what is the kind of the additional complexity that does not allow it to use the existing AMM connector?
Because it's like a mix between MM and order book. This is related to Sifchain. What we have created for Cosmos is like some kind of classes that then will be irritated for all the DEXs that are built on top of their SDK. Okay, so but for example for Sifchain, we have to create our own endpoints. But I'm open and happy to discuss more with the functional lead and review if there are possibility to reuse your own endpoints. So this would be helpful also for us.
Got it. Okay, so that means that if someone built an osmosis connector, the osmosis connector could build on top of your Cosmos base chain
Exactly.
classes, but use the regular AMM class. But because Sifchain has characteristics both in order book exchange and an AMM, that's why it needs a separate connector. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it. Thanks for clarification. Now I understand. Okay, so overall, I would say I think that we're not opposed to it, but I would say that I think any additional complexity, we would need to kind of review that to make sure that we're not kind of like increasing the complexity of the code base. I would say generally we're open to increasing the code base if it's absolutely necessary. However, obviously we're trying to standardize as much as possible.
Okay, that makes sense, and yeah, I'm happy to review it and step back and if to align with the logic that we have created for the code base. No problem on this.
Okay, but overall, it's on a high level. I do want to thank you for contributing, and especially because I think that adding the Cosmos, the base layer integration, is a very an important and a valuable contribution. I think. So I do want to kind of think, and we'll try to work with you to support Sifchain as well.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Does anyone else from the community have any questions? Cool. Well, we are also available in our Discord. We are providing as much documentation as we can also on our own docs page, and yeah, trying to do as much promotion as possible as well. So you'll probably see us around. And thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, Nick, maybe can you post any documentation or anything you want to kind of like highlight about either Pecunia or Sifchain in the community call chat so that people can find that info?
Sure, can do. Thanks.
Yeah, maybe we want to mention something about the bounties as well, Nick.
Yeah, we do also have open bounties for any community members who are looking for additional development work. So if you're interested in building primarily in Cosmos, but also in relation to other protocols and in relation to connectors, we are putting together an infrastructure to facilitate that.
Awesome. Thanks for inviting us, guys, to the call.
Okay, thank you very much for being here and for explaining what are you trying to do. So I don't know if the Carlito pasted the forum thread, so thank you, Carlito, too. So well, we can continue now with the rest of the meeting. We have now to check the bugs pending and then Q&A. So for the bugs pending, we are going to open the bounties board. If you don't have, the link is this one. So important, we have eight bounties open, yeah? So one is to upgrade the Ascend Spot connector from the initiative that we talked at the beginning of the meeting. And then we have mostly the same issues of last week. So I think that some of them that are important to check and to finalize are the FTX one. We have to take a decision, probably, or close the issue, or I don't know, check if someone has to check to really that the problem is not caused by the bot. Well, the other features are more like cosmetics. Well, the Binance one also is a little bit important, but at the same time, there is one guy working on the revamp of the Binance perpetuals to the latest standards. So probably that will solve that issue too. So I probably would like to remove that issue from the bounties board. So well, as we mention every week, if you want to work on some of these, just comment in that issue saying, hey, I want to work in this issue, and we are going to assign that to you. So, well, I don't know if anyone has a question on that or something related. One thing that we discussed today on our internal call, we want to, this is for all devs that are working on on different PRs or different bounties, we want to that you help us sticking to the rules. And what I mean by sticking to the rules is like, if the contribution guidelines says that a PR has to address and solve an issue, your PR has to solve the bug that is mentioned in the card. You don't have to make changes in all different files, adding typos or improving readability or adding the types of the variables in different files, because that's not the goal of that PR. If you want to do that I think that is very good, because it will help other devs to find easy which kind of variable is the one that you want, or you are going to fix typos or something like that. You can create another PR with that information or with that with those changes, and then we are going to review it. And why is this important, and why you should stick to the rules? Because for the client side, I'm the only engineer reviewing and from the QA standpoint, we are only 3 guys that are reviewing all the PRs. So every time that you make a change in some part of the code that can change or can have problems later on with the functionalities of that part, needs to be tested. So if in one PR that has to address some issue, we make changes in all different files, the QA team will have to test that, and we are going to lose the focus, that our focus is to change to only fix the bugs of the code base or the bugs that are in the bounties board. So that's what I would like to say now. And it's easy. You just have to stick to the rules of the contribution guidelines. So, well, mention that. Well, Memento says it will be nice to have visibility on when the bounty board is updated. Probably we can. You mean like having some information in the Discord, or what do you mean about that? When they are bounties reviewed and updated. Yeah, I don't know if the QA team can send that every time that there is a bounty added or open, but probably we can make like a weekly or daily snapshot. The thing is that the bounty is public, and if you have any doubt, you can go to that website and check the bounties. There are different views, so you can check that in the different views. But well,
this is I think right now I would just check the board, but in the future, what we might do is actually maybe use like the GitHub API and create like a Discord bot that updates every single time someone anytime like a bounty card changes from one state to another, you can probably post like a message on the Discord channel. Because I don't want to make QA do more work and create weekly digest, but I do think that I think there's a need to kind of get notified when something happens like that. So I think in the future, if once we have more developers working on bounties, I think.
I also think that part of the workflow is already automated, because if you are working in a PR, GitHub already sends the emails to your account if you are involved on that PR. Well, in my side, every time that I'm involved in one PR, all the changes or the the updates, I receive an email with updates. But I don't know if you want to check the updates of all the different bugs or all the different PRs from different persons that are working on that. It's like, if for that you can go to the website. If it's your PR, you are going to receive an email or a notification in GitHub. And regarding to the times, the how long the answer will take, that will depend. That will depend on the PRs that we are reviewing at that moment, and also it will depend on the availability of the reviewer and the complexity of the code. Because probably, I don't know, there are some PRs that I ask the review 3 times, and every time that I ask the review, there is another code and you have to recheck the code, download all the things. So, well, normally in a weekly basis, on Monday, we define which are the PRs that we are going to work on and review, and we put our reviews on that week. So in a weekly basis, we clean all the PRs that at least they have one review in a weekly basis. But as I mentioned at the beginning, yesterday I had to review like 7 PRs. So I am only one. If you are working in one PR, it's easy for you to know what are you changing. And that's why I also ask at the beginning that only make the changes related to that PR. Just an example, the rate oracle PR that you submit, Memento, was very good in the task of adding the rate oracle, but you added a lot of unrelated changes with that PR that makes the work of the QA team harder because they have to test a lot of things. So that's why I mentioned at the beginning that we should stick only to solution, to make the solution to that PR, and then if you want to submit another one, do another one. But that's how we are working. On Monday, we define the PRs to work on, and on Friday, we finish the PRs. So, and also in this meeting, every Wednesday, we told you which are the PRs that we added into the board. If there is another one that you can take. For now, there are 8 PRs open. So, well, if you want to work, you have like 8 PRs to work on them. Also, you weren't in the meeting, but we mentioned at the beginning that will be good to add more tickets to create more rate oracles, because it's a good feature to add a rate oracle of another exchange in your code, and it's very straightforward to build a rate oracle. So probably we can add them. We can add some tickets to add the reviews.
The right oracle, yeah. That process we first start with HTTP actually there, because I do think actually one thing that we're going to start doing is to try to formalize like the governance and maintenance process more, so that basically when it's just more visible to the community, how much HBot has been allocated to tokens, have been allocated to which initiatives, and then once initiatives been allocated, now you can kind of create bounties from that. So basically that's why we've already I think there's one that was is the snapshot currently for the sex connectors. So basically, I think this is more of the process in terms of process. What we should have done was created HTTP 25, the sex connector revamp program first. Gotten this snapshot approved, and then afterwards, then we create the bounties for the various exchange connectors. Then once someone actually has actually created the connector, then what they should do is submit the HIP, or we help them submit the HIP that allows the community to actually allocate those bounties to the developer to actually get them. So that's kind of the process that we're trying to kind of move toward. But overall, it's something that I think yeah, we're still trying to make sure that it's working properly. But so in terms of the rate oracle, we do think the rate oracle creating more bounties for ad developers to get an ad to this variable source is a good idea. But actually, I think we should. I think this time we should start the process, the right way by basically identifying like how much bounties we should put for the propose something for rate oracles, create the HTTP, and get the allocation approved before we start.
Yeah, yeah, I will do it. And also for the, I think that Memento is asking for the bounties board to assign developers. For that process, probably we can invite next week to Jeremy, that is our community manager. He can explain the process as he is following to assign developers to the shops. How we work, the QA team uploads the bugs to the bounties board, or we add some bugs that you want in this call. For example, if you say, hey, I think that this bug is important and it's not in the bounties board, we can add that too. And once the bounties is in the PRs board, in the bounties board, you can comment, and that those comments will be reviewed by our community manager, that will be Jeremy. And Jeremy will say you are assigned to this PR or not. So probably we can ask Jeremy next week to have a 5 minutes call, a 5 minutes talk about the process, what we can improve, and you can give him some feedback too about how we can improve that too. So probably now it's time to some. Jeremy is here. Okay, he's raising the hand, Carlito. Can you add him to the call? I thought that you were sick, Jeremy.
Hello guys. Yeah, I am sick, but I saw the chat. So about the bounties board, we do check that every day, me and QA, because we do need to work on for the whole week. But at the same time, I've been trying to limit like how many issues can one developer get, because as far as I'm seeing, like for the improvement bounties for the connectors, like one developer wanted to work on 4, and I don't think that's optimal, because it's better to distribute the work instead of one developer working on four different PRs for connectors, right? So that's not very productive. It's going to be as much as counterproductive for everyone, because we're on our side, we're going to wait for them to finish the PR, 4 PRs, and as depending on the bounties board right now, depending on the like P1, P2, P3. I'm since Memento, you're one of the most active members of the community. Um, I always assign most of the issues to you, mostly within the day, because I'm working the Asia time in Asia time. So mostly maybe if you're in US, it will be your night time, and it's going to be my morning. It's always updated every day. But if I do need some advice from a developer, I do have a meeting first with Federico before we assign anyone to the bounty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Overall, and I think that for the developers out there, like, I think you should understand, like, we're trying to kind of make sure that everyone has a chance to pick up bounties. So if we assign bounties to one developer, that means that other developers can't. We can't assign that to other developers at the same time. So overall, I think this should be like, let's say for like bug fixes, like I think developers should not be assigned more than like 3 at a time. I think because if you should finish the ones you're working on currently before you get new ones assigned. Similarly, I think for connectors, I think I feel like we should only assign one, to any outstanding developer, because connectors are pretty big projects that take multiple weeks. So I think if a developer has one assigned to them, they shouldn't have another connector assigned until they finish that one. Does that make sense? It's yeah. Because I feel like I think this is just we can try to formalize this, but I think a lot of things like a lot of times like it's better to just have a norm rather than an explicit rule. And I think this is one of those like norms that I think we should try to establish as a community that kind of gives a chance to everyone else. You know, so that should hopefully increase the dispersion of issues available.
Yeah, Memento. Mostly if it issues don't have comments, it means that no one has taken the bounty. So yeah, you can take it, but mostly I think you have like 5 PRs mostly at the same time. So I think whatever works for everyone. But at the same time, we do want other developers to work on the bounties on the bounty board as well.
Okay.
So I think that yeah, if anyone has more questions, please put them in the chat. You know, but I think that we should probably wrap up soon, right, Fede?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that that's all because we cover all the topics for today. So for the next week, I will probably have the proposal ready to add more rate oracles to create the initiative of to add more rate oracles. Well, hopefully we get more bugs solved, and we can continue with this cycle every week. Well, thank you very much for all of you that are contributing with Hummingbot and solving and fixing bugs. So, well, I think that's all.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.